Here's Pop the Cork, and he is having his big first ride out in the field this morning. He was so good yesterday in the ring that I thought he was most certainly ready to go out to the field and have a little flat around and then hopefully pop over a couple of logs, which we did because he was really good. And I didn't want to do a lot of flatting because I'm sure everybody who's watching this is aware we're all in a heat wave right now. So it's just outrageous outside. And actually, the camera looks a little fuzzy in the middle because it's still trying to adjust to the humidity. I should have put it outside earlier this morning. So that's why it looks a little fuzzy. So apologies for that. And the problem with riding in the field right now, especially because the grass is so long, it needs to be bush hogged. But anyway, the bugs are just awful out there. There's so many greenheads. So in a perfect world, I would have liked to have spent a lot more time walking him today, especially walking over all the logs and stuff. But walking was really not an option because the second you stop trotting, the greenheads are just all over him, and then he's all upset because of the bugs. Rightfully so. I'm upset too when I'm getting bit by bugs. So anyway, we just kind of had to uh, go quick and get it all done so that he could just be done because walking was no option today. But anyway, he was fantastic. As expected, they're always going to be a little bit more up when you take them out of the ring and you put them in a fresh, brand new environment. But this horse's version of up is very mellow and very rideable still. So I'm riding him with a little bit more structure, a little bit more connection through the reins, and he was easy. He was great. I think this is lovely right here. He's doing a great job of navigating the really high grass. He was really fairly straight in his shoulders. It can be sometimes, you take them out of the structure of the ring with the fencing, you put them in a wide open environment, and I'm not riding him on the fence line. So that's really when you figure out how much you really do have them straight between your legs versus how much you're relying on using the outside aid of a fencing or a wall to keep them straight. So it's always a good little reality check, and he was very good. His canter transitions weren't quite as perfect as they normally are, sort of to be expected. I'm sure he was feeling a little bit internally, overwhelmed, and there's just a lot to look at and take in. So I actually had asked him for the left lead first, didn't get it. Then he picked up the right lead. So then I just decided, the point of this ride is not to be drilling the canter departs, which he does very nicely in the ring. So then I just did a little change of direction, and so we cantered to the right first, and he put in some very nice work. It always takes them a little bit of time to understand, the balance is a little bit different out here at my jump field because it is actually on a little bit of a hill. So it takes them a little bit to figure out, the rebalance as they're going down the slope part and all that stuff. But he did a great job. I mean, these are all very mild things. I feel like I'm picking at him, but these are all like rated G things to be saying about a horse. He was excellent. And then actually, once we did that first canter and we went to the right, we just cantered around a couple of times. That really settled him in. So then he did do a nice canter depart to the left. And actually, I think we did two canter departs to the left. He was very good about the cars going by. He paid that no attention. A little bit of a rebalance there as we get to the bottom of the hill. And then here, this is all right. He's not quite where I want him. I would like a little bit more connection, a little more roundness over his top line. And then, so the nice thing about it is there we sort of powered up the hill a little bit, which can help add enthusiasm from behind and help the connection. But then he broke. I actually didn't want him to trot at the top of the hill. I thought, oh, we're just getting the impulsion we need for a good canter. So that's why I decided to ask for another canter transition, which was good because it didn't never hurts to do a bunch of canter transitions. And then in this pass at the canter, I felt like I had him right where I wanted him. He was more through, more balanced. This is a much better balance this time cantering down the hill than it was the time before. Yeah, really nice there. So those are the steps that I like right there. Then a little bit of oomph power up the hill. Yeah, and I really like that outline there. Yep, so that was great. I was very pleased with his flat warm up. So then we went to the logs, and this horse really, really likes to jump. He's very game for it. He's super brave. I'm pretty annoyed at myself because that was the first log we went to, and he just jumped it way bigger than I was expecting because he just trotted up to it so leisurely, and I caught him in the mouth a little bit, which that's like my biggest pet peeve of something that I can do wrong. I always try to avoid that at all costs, and so I felt terrible, and I'm really annoyed at myself that I let that happen. So then, then you have to pay the price a little bit because, of course, they don't want to be caught in their mouth. So he was a little bit fussy the next time we went over the log. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I just had to. Then you really have to make sure you're going to put on your A game and not do that to them again. And so he was very good. He did not hold it against me, and he continued to jump very nicely. And I feel badly that that happened. He's just so brave. I mean, he's not walked over these things. He's just like goes right up to them all nice and straight and cute and confident. And he just always jumps in such a nice form. And he's just very light and balanced. It doesn't take much on the rider's part. I think this is where we jumped that log there along the road. And man, did he jump that well. That was so good. The horse can really jump. I was very impressed with the effort he made over that log. And it's actually a little bit of a scary jump because the bark is stripped off and you're heading right into that shadow of the tree and the edge of the fencing in the corner right there against the road. But he's brave. I think now we're going to the little black pipe. Sometimes they give this a look, but oh, wait, nope, not yet, sorry. But actually, he was fine with the pipes. And I will say what I like about the pipe is that just like the log, it's that nice round shape that we want them to make. And he can whack it as much as he wants, or any of them really, not him in particular. And Billy has it in place pretty good in the ground so it won't move. So I thought he did this little log so cute coming down the hill. And then just such a nice canter here. Okay, now I think we're coming to the little black pipe. I mean, just perfect. So by now in our ride, he just feels like he's totally relaxed in this environment now. I'm riding. I can certainly ride him with my reins a bit longer and looser, and take the time to give him all the pats and put a loop in the rein. And he's comfortable now. He's relaxed in this new environment, and he's just not one that gets worried about jumping new things. So this was his grand finale. He cantered down this line of logs and he jumps this log here so nicely, right out of stride. That was so good. And then to this log, I saw a weight distance and he just so perfectly adjusted for me. So I'm thrilled with him. Such a good boy.